have Meryl Greenhill. And Mary Greenhill, she's with Savvy Business Network. So, but our topic is about parenting, right? So, growing boys and raising girls, right, Meryl?
Absolutely, quite different.
Yes.
Both.
Yes, I have one son that's from my previous marriage, right? Khalil, that's 19. And I have three stepkids, so I have two daughters and one boy. It's hard for me in the beginning to learn, because girls and boys, they are completely different.
And all children are different.
And being a parent, it's not that easy,
Ah,
right?
no.
Yeah, and you, Meryl, you have two kids, right?
I have a boy who's now 30 and a daughter who's 27.
27. And
Not easy.
no, it's not easy.
And they always are your children.
Absolutely. That the boys and girls, they are born different. And that's why sometimes we don't understand, right? So, Meryl, just tell me a little bit, about your experience.
I found that boys are very introverted. One, they don't really talk as much as girls. It's very hard, even growing up with my son, I recall, it was hard to get anything out of him. And it's just being a male. Females will tell you everything, and sometimes too much information, as we all know. But I did learn from this whole experience of bringing up two children, and now they're out of the house, is that you have to teach them to soar and be on their own.
I completely agree, because I think as a parent, sometimes, of course, we want, we all want the best for our kids, right? And this can bring us a lot of anxiety because we want to decide for them. I think, as a parent, our job should just be like guide our kids, right? Mm-hmm. And show them what's right, what's wrong, and then actually let them soar, right? And discover by themselves, because sometimes what worked for us as a parents, in our generation, our time,
different world,
it doesn't work for them. That's what I found those days, that it's harder to raise kids in today's world than back then. And until Khalil was 2 years old, I didn't want to punish him. I didn't want to discipline him because I felt guilty because I could not spend time with him as much as I wanted. Until, I started to go to the church, and I have a mentor, and she looked at me and said, Keula, it's your job to teach your son. It's your job to discipline him. And I remember, and I used to call Khalil and I say, Khalil, and he didn't listen. He was playing around next to me, he didn't listen. Khalil, he didn't voice, right? And then I have to hold his hand, and because boys, especially boys, they have hard time to do, like contact eyes. So I just listen to me, young boy, let me tell you. Did you hear mom calling you? He said, yes, mom. And why you didn't respond? I was busy. Say, you're never too busy for mom. You're never too busy for mom. When I call your name, you better respond. Yes, mom. And you better be prompt. And the thing is, I remember, and I'm blessed that even when I was 22 years old, and I used to tell him, listen, I'm giving you warning now. That's the thing is, as a parent, we have to learn to keep our promise. Yes, yes, no, no. Our problem today, world, that we say one yes and we give our kids one no. So you tell them, don't do this, because if we do that, it's going to happen. And then the kid keep doing over and over, and you don't discipline them.
You have to stick with it.
You have to stick what you say. And then, they're not going to believe you. Why are they going to believe you if you say one thing and you do all that?
And I was terrible at that. I must admit.
That's important.
That's a very thing that I was not good at. But I think, like yourself, Keula, and I'm not blaming myself or anybody.
And you should not blame.
No, blame is very important, especially in addiction.
Right.
That mothers blaming themselves, but you know what? You can't blame yourself. And you can't blame yourself because you had to work. I was working with children.
Right.
But sometimes I think even bringing up children, they need going to school early is probably great for them. They need to be.
I like the interaction. I like the kids start the interaction for the kids early stage in life.
But I think you need as parents to
the contact eyes. And again, remember, folks, yes, yes, no, no. It's hard. And I remember here, I used to tell my son, listen, do you want to be punished late in life by the police officer or by mom now? He said, no, mom, I want to be punished by you, because mom punished with love. Everything that I'm doing, I'm teaching you, I'm doing out of love. But late in life, if I don't teach you, that correct you now, I was to say like the police or the life not gonna have love to teach you.
Yep.
That's the important. Hurt me so much. It just to punish him. It hurts on me more than it hurts on him, right? To punish him, to discipline him, to put him a timeout, right? But today I see that I can get the fruits from this, and I'm blessed because even then I came to this country. I left my son at 6 years old. Listen, was my baby. You just the fact that being apart, and did not disturb our relationship, and he became this nice young man. It was just because of the foundation from the back.
Absolutely.
From before, right? And then I see now, for me, in my case, I also have my stepkids, right? And my stepkids, it's a completely different, right? And then again, talking about growing boys and raising girls, right? So Scott have 3 kids from his previous marriage. So I have now 2 boys, Kaliel and Will, and then I have the 2 girls. And then your experience, do you think it's harder to raise boys?
I think boys
girls?
actually are easier. I think they were easier. I think boys are much easier. Girls are very moody.
Yep.
And there's a lot of drama.
Yep. Yeah, especially when they become teenagers. I think boys, or they are the tough ones, the harder ones, when they are kids. Like, the little girl, you can tell her, stay here, babe, mom gonna go to the bathroom, be right back. She'll stay there, she'll sit there, wait for you.
Boys run.
The boys run, right? That's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, when they become teenagers, I think it's flipped.
Yep.
I think girls become a little bit more like, like they have that kind of competition now. So especially with the mom, right? I think I always
and what do they wear? And
right.
But I gotta say something. My personal experience.
Uh-huh.
My daughter is my best friend now. She is, because we went through all that, and she's come out 27 years old, my best friend.
Oh,
and I call her, and we there's nothing I won't tell her. But
that's so
teenage
nice.
life.
Listen, I have friends, actually, close friends, that their daughters are the best friend. If the daughters feel the same way, their mom is the best friend. But I do have friends that the daughters criticize the mom all the time. And there is this constant, competition. And I think it's all phase in life too. And, eventually, I think things will change.
Like everything else.
Like everything else, right? And the other thing too, Meryl, about safety. Don't you think it's harder, like, boys or girls, like, to keep them safe?
I think girls are harder because we always, at least when I grew up, I was the only girl. I was the baby.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were very worried. My brothers had more of I grew up in New York City.
Right.
The fact is, they were allowed to do things that I wasn't allowed to do. So
right.
Maybe I did with my daughter more or less, was on top of her more because I was worried.
Yeah.
I think parents in general, they worry about their daughters more than their sons.
It does. But I feel like because the boys, they have this risk-taker personality, they want to try different things, right? And when they see a tree, they're all the way at the top of the tree. My perception that it's harder to keep the boys safe than the girl. That's in my perception, because girls, they listen more, right?
Oh, girls listen.
Girls listen more than the boys.
Oh, it's a proven fact.
Absolutely. Yeah. It comes back with the communication, right? Because I think, boys really have hard time just to express themselves, like, girls. Girls, you can ask a girl about, how was your day? They can tell in details, and there's sometimes it's TMI, right? They will share, all the aspect of the day. They can share with you. And the boys, you have to keep like, how was the day? It was fine.
You can't ask too many
I know,
questions.
right? Yes. What did you do? I did this, and that's it. Can get few words of
and
them.
they grunt.
Yes.
And they grunt.
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem is that a lot of the families nowadays, 2 people are working like that.
Absolutely.
And they're both on the road. In this area, especially in your area, both parents are on the road. And yes, you can keep them with somebody who's not family and a housekeeper, but I think it can affect the child.
Absolutely. So talking about self-esteem, so do you think who is harder, girls or boys?
I think boys have self-esteem. I think girls, they
I
worry
think
about
they
what
lack.
they look.
Absolutely.
How do I look like? What do I wear? You remember those days?
And you can see, like, as women, we're very hard on ourselves. It's just because we're critical of ourselves.
Absolutely.
And I think, yes, definitely, girls are harder than the boys when it comes to self-esteem. They have lower self-esteem than the boys.
And I think that's also a lot of the problem, that children who are uncomfortable with themselves, and going back to Linda, is that's why they're turning to drugs, because they're so unhappy and their self-esteem is so low. It all goes in a circle.
And especially society today, right? We see all those beautiful models in this magazine, of all apps that you can make yourself beautiful, right? You open a magazine, there's all those beautiful models. It's very difficult, for the girls. It's difficult for us as an adult, right, to have to live in today's world, because we're all trying to compare ourselves, especially in the teenager, in the little girl, they are not ready for this. It's too much of them.
Their minds are not mature.
That's why, there is a lot of kids that suffer bullying in school. And as a parent, we have to really watch close our kids. And Haliel is 19 years old, Julia's 18, and we was 13. They still just they ask for things, they communicate. Kaliel another day went to Brazil, like when his grandfather passed away in Brazil, and he called me, Mom, may I get a tattoo? His was 18 at the time, he could just do it, right? And so I appreciate he called me, but listen, I didn't tell him no. I just said, listen, I think this is not the right time for you to make this decision. You are, very sad that your grandfather passed away. I think you should just hold on. You're going to have still plenty of time, to decide about that. So let's put this on hold, But I think it was important. But the fact that he called me and he asked me about it, that's communication.
Absolutely.
Right, Meryl?
I think that's all part of how the kids are growing up. Unfortunately, they're all on social media, and they're on the phones texting, not even talking on the phone.
Right.
And one thing I do learn is what I know when we have dinner, phones need to be off. You need to take the phone, put it in another room. Because
you need to have time.
Yeah, I'm not saying every night, because everybody's working. We know that.
Right.
But there has to be a little family time.
Right.
If it's football and everybody's watching football, fine.
Absolutely.
Or eating dinner Saturday night or Sunday or whatever.
So Linda, I hope you home gonna be able to hear, Linda, well from there, because she's here in a conference call with us, right?
Yes.
And Linda, can you tell a little bit about what you do?
Well, I work with substance counseling, which really runs between drugs and alcohol, and I try to find people recovery wherever they're at, if they need inpatient or outpatient, or even just to talk.
So, what's your take about growing boys and raising girls in today's world?
Well, you know what? I think it's very different. Obviously, I have two boys, so I can just tell you from that perspective. It's very different these days, because I think with social media being so prevalent and living within such a deep epidemic, it's different on both ends.
Linda, could you tell us, what is the percentage? What is going on? What's the numbers look like with this epidemic of drugs and everything else? Could you give us that?
Well, I can tell you the statistics that I use from my presentations. 1 out of 3 families these days is affected. It's probably exactly 1 out of 3. If you're sitting with 2 other families, then one of you has a prevalent addiction running within your home at this point. In Suffolk, because I present the best on Suffolk, Suffolk, County.
Yeah.
So last year we lost about almost 800 people, most of them young people, sadly, in Suffolk.
It's very sad, and it's devastating. It's devastating. I even can't imagine, dealing with a situation like that, because you gotta love your kids. It's an unconditional love, right?
Exactly.
No matter what. And it's hard.
The thing is this: when you're battling an addiction and you're watching the child lose your whole existence and heart, battling it, you're grieving, because you're grieving before you even lose them, because the battle is so deep and so emotional.
It is.
And no matter I'm sure you see families from all different face of the earth, wealthier, middle class, lower class.
No. Well has no bearing on this.
Good.
Yeah, that's what I have seen too, especially in this area, right? That's we very privileged in this area. But what I see, there is a lot of drugs in school those days, and it's hard. That's when my son went to high school back in Brazil, and everybody was asking, why don't you bring him here, to finish high school? And then at that time, I didn't. To be honest, I did not want to because rich schools, rich kids, they have everything, and they show up at the school with a Ferrari.
Well, let me just tell you this: it doesn't have to be a poor or rich disease because to get a bag of heroin these days is not a lot of money. You can get heroin very cheap.
I was really scary last 2 years ago. I was in GC, I was with a group of friends in my boat, and what happened is somebody gave me some cookies. I thought it was just advertising cookies, they are promoting the business with a business card, and they have marijuana on the cookies. And then I learned later that's actually legal in Washington, GC, to have marijuana, and I was in shock, in shock.
Do you feel that how hard is it now to bring up children?
Well, let's talk about prevention. Okay, since you're talking about bringing up children. So let's talk about prevention in middle school. Middle school nowadays, 85% of 12 and 13-year-olds have already had their first drink and smoked their first joint.
Wow.
And their dealer is not, some guy coming out of a BMW. Their dealer is their best friend.
It's scary actually to send the kids to school knowing that their best friends could be there selling drugs for them. So as a parent, what should we pay attention the daily life of our children, right? To notice this in early stage or just to avoid that it happen.
I think there's a lot of signs and symptoms that I think people need to just stay present and educated on. If you see big changes with your child, and I would say 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, if you see the friends changing or more isolation or their, the way they look or their hygiene, definitely confront them about it.
Again, this can happen in any family, like you said, right? The rich family or just not so privileged family, anybody can go through, this issue. I remember it's difficult.
But no distinction in addiction between girls and boys.
But I feel like the boys are more like about just taking risk, and I think no. Wow. So the number that you have, the percentage is the same for girls and boys?
I think it's a lot easier for girls actually. Because I've never seen a distinction just where I do. I think it's a lot easier for girls to ultimately, in this world to get addicted, actually.
Right. And I think the biggest problem I see at this point is that parents don't want to talk about it. And they just leave it under the carpet.
Someone that I know that was dealing with that, and we all knew about it, but she never brought this up. And because of course it's hard, and of course we try to be respectful because the person is already dealing with so much, right? And it's hard.
What happens with us is, and especially with me too. I mean, I am the mother of flags, so I never spoke. I had it in my house for years. And the stigma and shame for me, I didn't talk about it.
I think is what I see as a parent, okay? I think especially in today's world, a lot of us, we want to be friends first, right, of our kids. I think it's our job to be a parent first, right? Yes. We got to be a parent first. Yep. And then we got to be their friends. I had my son at age of 22. And I was very young. At the time, I was working really hard and stay with the babysitters at home. And it was hard, but then I felt guilty, right? And I think it happened with a lot of parents.
Oh.
There is not a lot of moms that have the privilege just to stay home. Mom, they have to work,
Not
right?
anymore.
Yeah, but and then what happened? We kind of feel guilty, and then we see signs from our kids that something's wrong. But because we feel guilt and ashamed that we have not been able to spend so much time, we want to discipline them, right? And that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's important for us. This is our job.
I think it goes, when you're talking about the shame, the addiction, I think it goes way beyond that in the way that we don't want to talk about our kids and the struggles that they're having. Not the struggles we're having coping with it. We don't want to talk about what's happening with our kids because you can't make sense out of addiction. You can't know the behavior because the behavior is unpredictable.
Yeah.
And Linda is very good, as I know, about talking and helping a person dealing with that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this is being the parent, we have to deal with it ourselves too.
Absolutely.
And as being a parent. So
What I do is I specialize in family work with addiction. And it really is a lot about just uncovering the issues like getting through the shame and stigma within the family so that we can really get help for their loved one. But it's more important that we deal with the insurance because the insurance companies are literally standing in the way of a lot of people getting treatment.
Yeah, but thank you so much for your call. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you, Linda.
participating.
thank you, Linda. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Like going back to what we started with, you have to teach them that they can go on their own, but be smart.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing is, you always tell the kid, don't do this, and give them a reason why you don't do it. Right? Because, remember, when you have your kids start just walking around the house, they can go to the outlet, put the finger on the outlet, and you just do that in their hand and say, don't do it. You got to tell why, and we sometimes subestimate our kids. We don't tell them why they cannot do things. I like to compare, right? I like to show them stories. Like another time, a friend shared with me this story about this kid that was in drugs. The first thing I did, I forwarded to my son and for my kids because I want they see it as well. They learn, you see, you have all this, but listen, life is made of choices, right? If you decide to go to this path, that's what can happen. Do you want to see yourself here or here, right? So you give them options, and and of course, at the end of the day, they're gonna pick what's best for them at the moment. But I think it's very important for the parents to guide them, and then you feel like in your own, like that you did the best you can. Again, we can't feel guilty. We can't blame on ourselves. If it meant to happen, it will happen. Right, Meryl? Unfortunately, we can't surround our kids 24/7, be there 24/7 with them because also we gotta let them be themselves.
And you always have to love them, no matter
what.
bad or good. And I have learned that through life. No matter what, you love your children. Yeah. But you accept what happens.
Yeah. Like we all know, we all realize that boys and girls, they are different. This is a no-brainer, right? I think we all agree with that. But in the end of the day, we have to teach them the same principle, and we always gotta be a parent. First, number one, our job to be a parent. We're gonna be a friend. Second, is our job to teach our kids, to guide them, and of course, and pray, right?
And I hope that if any parent is dealing with any problems, this parent should know that they can't do it alone. They can't do it alone. They need help.
We need to teach our kids, okay? It doesn't matter, boy or girls, the same values, right? Empathy, compassion, respect, right?
I love that.
Conference and independence, right? That's what we should teach our kids, no matter if they are boys and girls, and don't be afraid to be a parent. So that's our message for today. Anything else you want to add?
I thank you, Keula, because and really, it's wonderful to have her in my life.
Oh my gosh, I love you. Thank you for coming. I know you for 3 years now, and it's been
we've been bad.
Yeah,
we've all got friendships go through ups and downs. So the parents with their children, ups and downs.
Absolutely. So folks, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, as you see, we changed the concept. podcast. I'm bringing a guest every week. I hope to see you here sometime soon. If you are interested to be part of our Let's Keep It Real, if you have a topic that you'd like to us to discuss, just give me a call and let me know. And again, remember, be you, do you, and stay true. I love you all. Bye bye, folks. Bye.
Bye.